saynomo.
All right, let's go. What's up, man? What's going on? This Wayne. It's my boy Carlos in the building. Sitting here with my man, young talented black man from St. Paul. Young Juice Lord in the building. Out here working,
yes, sir.
Performing, doing all you got to do, man.
Yes, sir.
So how'd you get into rap, man? What's like your upbringings of it? Like if you had to say, like, you know what I mean? What if you had a moment in life to say, well, I want to rap? What was it for you?
Well, I mean, you know, I grew up playing basketball all my life, and when I got to Central, you know, I noticed, like, you know, maybe after around sophomore year, I noticed just basketball just wasn't the same. I was losing. I lost a lot of love for it, lost passion for it, and I was in the poetry class. What's her name? I think is it Miss Palmer?
Miss Palmer.
Miss Palmer.
Yeah,
I was in Miss Palmer's class, and I was writing poetry. I wrote a poem called "The American Dream," and just a lot of different stuff from with Penumbra Theater. And I started freestyling, just learning more about hip hop. I felt basketball was starting to fade away, but that, you know, that real moment, other than, you know, freestyling with the homies at the lunch table and all that, was when Avid took us to the Jay-Z concert in 2013. It was like
Grill? Was that?
No, it was the Magna Carta.
Magna Carta.
Magna Carta tour. Timbo was there. And shit, man, that when I seen that was 2013. So when I seen that, I was like, this is what I want to do. When you could captivate that many people performing records you did like 20 years, you know, 15, 16 years ago, and clear that shit, man. Like, just seeing him do that, man, alone, my eyes was big, and I was like, this is what I want to do, because I was already a performer from acting and just being a poet, and I was still hooping. I still liked it, but it just wasn't the same, man. After that, I started really doing it, started getting up with Watt Khalid, started getting up with my boy Lucian Parker, and then Kaleem the Dream and Najee and all of my brothers after that, man.
Word.
Yeah, for real. But that moment was when I seen Jay-Z live, and like my first live while I was performing at the Blue Nile with Lucian Parker. It was over South, and I met a lot of dope artists through that. And then I'll say around 2015, it was probably my senior year, I went out to New York, and because a lot of, like, when people know you for what they know you as, like, you know, all your life, you know, or like Lil Wayne used to hoop, or, you know, this, that, and the third, or, you know, they knew me for hooping, and it was kind of hard to make that transformation to, you know, being known as an MC, as a poet. So I had to get better, and I went out to New York, had a show, 15-minute set. Shout out to Bree Watts. Had a 15-minute set out there, met some homies in New York, and since then I ain't looked back. Rapped on Sway in the Morning around the time we had Senior Dish Day, and since then I've just been really doing this shit. You know, trying to.
You ever like, when you first started, did you ever like go through a phase where you had people that really wasn't taking you seriously about it, and you kind of did that ever happen, like that type of discouragement?
Yeah, because, like, you know, like I was saying, like they knew me for being a hooper all my life.
Right. Like,
you know, and there's people that hoop now that are trying to rap, and it's not an easy move, you know, because, you know, everybody, it's like, you know, everybody wants to hoop and everybody wants to be a rapper.
Right.
So I mean, it's really that thing. You gotta really show people and prove people that you really, for one, that you're dope, and then for two, that you're really passionate about it. And I definitely had people that not that they didn't think I was cool, but they just didn't see it because I don't know. It just wasn't. They weren't used to me doing it. So once I really started doing that, like, cause for one, I was known as a poet for a long time too, and it was hard to shake off that. And I love poetry because I'm a poet first and MC second to me. And took me a minute to shake off that too. And once people really started to see me rhyme and rap over certain beats and perform, that I would say I would say probably my senior year or my first year of college is when, like, I started, people started really truly respecting me as a MC.
Who are some of your influences in the rap game?
Shit. A lot of people like to call me, old head or New York head, but shit, New York, man, is that's where I found my voice when, other people didn't want to hear my voice, was in New York. They say, like, if you could perform in New York, you can perform anywhere. And it was like at a little low-key thing, but it's still people who really grew up around, like, great MCs. Not saying there ain't great MCs here, because there is, but just on a grand scale of things, I would say Nas, Pop, Jay-Z. See, all East Coast right now, right? Jay-Z,
okay, I like how you kind of Tupac as East Coast.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I get in the debate with people that all the time. Yeah. Like, no, Pac's not a.
Yeah, well, he was,
but yeah.
Yeah, but
he's East Coast.
Biggie, shit, Black Thought, that's all damn near all East Coast. But other than that, far as if we want to just get into people that I physically really grew up on. Well, I grew up on Nas and them too, but it was towards when they were really veterans. The I Can was a song I heard as a kid, and it really inspired me to. I mean, I believe I'm one of the products of that song. Right. You know what I mean? I know I can. You know what I mean? And I would say just as far as my generation, my age, Kendrick, Meek Mill, Big Crit, Wale, Currency. I mean, we grew up on so much different music. We grew up on the Soulja Boys, but he ain't really my inspiration. But them dudes and Nip, rest in peace. Them MCs right there. Drake too. Yeah.
Drake too.
Yeah, for sure. I would say all those MCs right there. And
speaking of Nip, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, Nip.
How did that hit you?
Man, that hit me. That hit me heavy. And honestly, my friend, one of my friends, Brian, and my friend Lamar, them are two of the people out of my age that was really like a fan of Nip. So I can only imagine how they feel. As far as me, like Kendrick and Cole are my favorite rappers, but once I really started to hear Nip, I really started hearing Nip around Crenshaw tape. I really started to listen because my homies was telling me, like, yo, you gotta really listen. And I already knew he was. It's like certain rappers is dope, but there's so many rappers and you're not gonna end up listening to every rapper. Yeah. So as I got older and really started really listening to Nip, and what made it really hurt to me about Nip was watching his interviews. Like, a lot of the times I don't listen to people's music, but I listen to interviews and I see do they have sense. Right. And I found that in Nip, and he inspired me, like, to, for one, just be true to myself and stay and work on my craft and be good to people. It was two things, and don't take no bullshit either, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. It hurt me a lot because, I've been listening to Victory non-stop since it dropped. Like, one of my favorite songs is Loaded Bases, and it's like, it's simple, but it's the realest thing ever, because it's like, yo, the bases is loaded right now, man. I'm up to bat. I could either end this thing or strike out. Right. And the game over, we lost. And it's like, take them home, man. And it's like that he was a true motivator, and that song alone was like, that song alone was just, I don't even know how to explain it, man. But overall, though, man, losing Nip, man, that shit hurt. And what made it hurt more is just seeing people's logic on it, behind it. I feel like that the loss of Nip and the social media thing really showed me who people really are, mentally, and just is as people. It don't necessarily mean they gonna be like that forever, but in this moment, it really showed me certain people's characters.
Some people ain't got it all.
You know what I mean? Some people ain't got it all, and that's what hurts, is because people could just say these off the wall things and not get any type of repercussions from it. You know.
You think going on about that? You think I know you know about the Kodak situation. You was talking about people, you know. You think how everybody's treating him, banning his music, removing his art from places? How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's an interesting thing, because you know,
that's a lot of
I just from afar, what I think about Kodak, you know, there's certain times Kodak has had sense to me, and it's just he has a different way of expressing himself, and that and how he grew up isn't how everybody else grew up. So a lot of people not going to understand it, and I don't necessarily understand everything, but I could tell he's probably been through some horrific things, you know, some crazy shit, and he you know, sometimes he just spaz out, kind of like how XXX did. You know, he just, you know, spazzed out sometimes. But far as what he said about Nip, me seeing at first when I didn't see it, I was kind of hot. I was hot and all that. But when I seen it live, and it's like he was talking amongst people and saying this, I feel like that live thing is a vice for him. Like, you know, like you know, I feel like that really strikes him, and I feel it wasn't as disrespectful as people blew it up to be, but I feel like it was just, you know, bad timing.
Unnecessary,
bad timing to be talking about it, man. It's gonna be cats trying to get at Lauren London, you know, people when you're alive or when you're not. So I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go about it that way.
Never.
But I would say as far as banning his music, man, I just feel like with anything, when people talking about canceling culture and banning people and all, if you gonna do that, man, let's literally get to the realm of what America is. If we gonna do that,
I mean,
yeah. Let's cancel this money that is worth this cash that is worth so much, and take them heads that's on there. Let's take down.
But some people don't deserve that.
Off that logic, everything could be gone. You're right, though. Off that logic, facts.
But we're not gonna do that. You know, a lot of people are selective and picking and choosing on who to cut off, and
some niggas get passes.
You know, in general, just on what to speak on and whatnot. And you know, it's sometimes a sensitive area. But as far as Kodak, man, I mean, I just, you know, hope he moves better, man. He stays away from that live, you know. For sure.
It's kind of messed up though, because even with his situation, you kind of see the double standard in situations like with Game and shit like that. And, like, you know what I mean? though, like like how Game like it's not the same thing, but it's like it's honestly like a double standard. Like they say, a lot of people are saying, oh, that was disrespectful. On like look at everything Kodak did. Look at his case. He got open right now. So that's like we canceling him for saying. I saw what he said. He shouldn't have said it, but it's like. Was that shit worse than everything else this nigga done did? Like, why the fuck you get canceled off for this? Like you just said, like it's an agenda thing. Like that's why I was trying to wonder. And then when I was talking about with Game, when he was this song that we ain't heard yet with Kim K, I guess, when he dick down your throat shit. And like, you know what I mean? Like, bro.
And I was watching.
That's crazy.
Honestly, Game, he grew to be one of my. I don't know. Looking in hindsight, he's like one of my favorite MCs.
Everybody,
you know,
bro.
And like Joe Budden said, or not Joe Budden, someone in the podcast said, I feel like the Game doesn't have to do those tactics that other cats do, but he's done certain things leading up to his album. And a lot of artists have done that, he has in different ways. But far as that, I mean, that's not an approach that I would take, and I don't think that's an approach that he should take, because he's too great.
He's talented.
And he's too great. He got too much sense from what I know, and I don't know. I just
cancel Kodak though. Cancel Kodak.
For what though? You cancel him for the rape, or you cancel him for what? What you
No, I'm canceling him for
everything.
For the last thing. That was the icing on the cake. Cancel him. He's out of here.
Yeah, man. I don't. No.
The rape wasn't enough, nigga.
It was. He should have been. That's what I'm saying. He should have been. Like you said, he should have been canceled a long time ago.
Y'all listen to Kodak Black, nigga.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to him.
I don't hate on that black man, but
I don't listen to him like that. But you know, I see. Like, you know, for instance, for instance, Erykah Badu gets critiqued a lot for saying she sees different sides of people. Right. You know, I mean, it's not necessarily everybody's thought process on how they look at people, but I don't know, man. I just, like, for instance, like Nipsey said, man, I don't remember it word for word, but in an interview, he was basically saying talking about the circus, I think, or just about letting people get their shit off and you know, just pay it no mind. I feel like if people don't give it attention, if all these blogs don't hype up stuff, then it won't you know, become what it is. But with social media, you know, anything gets blown out of proportion. Like what he said wasn't as crazy as
what they captioned it. Clickbait shit.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean? You know, and like
I heard him like, fuck it.
People
That's
like,
all? I mean, you should have
like,
said it, but fuck.
You know, people like, you know, TMZ, all that stuff,
you
man.
Gotta plan. I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't rock with a lot of these blogs, and because I don't know, man.
They bad for the culture, like niggas like niggas like academics. Like a lot of people like him and follow good comment, but I don't know.
Saying I look like that Kevin, man.
You kind of do look like that nigga.
With my hat on, man.
No, you really look like the nigga that played Spawn, nigga. Michael J. White. Hey man, I'm just saying, man.